Guys, what's going on? Hope everyone is doing good. So, I'm right in the middle of the PR process, and I thought, what better time for me to make these videos than as I'm doing it because it's super fresh in my mind. So, there are a lot of documents when you're applying for the Thai green card. Formally, it's called the Thai permanent residence, but sometimes I think people are just more familiar with the term green card, so I use that. But anyways, there's a long list. So if you're actually interested in this process, you may have already looked at the Thai immigration website and that big document list. The thing about it is, an easy way to think about it is to divide it up into three categories. There's documents that you need to get, documents you need to get from your employer. So your employer will get those basically for you. You just need to ask for them. And then documents you need to get from the government. The two from the employer and the government, those can mostly be done within the last few months, like the last quarter of the year. You don't really need to go that far in advance. Some of them you can't even get until, within 1 month or within 90 days of the application or of the end of the year, something like that. But for the documents that you need to collect, there's a good amount. A lot of them are also ones that you can do pretty quickly. I'll give you an example. There's like a personal info sheet, and it's going to ask you all the basic stuff. I don't know, height, hair color, weight, nationality, birthday, all that stuff. That's something you can do at any time, and it would only take you about a day to finish. There is another one that asks for like a map of your workplace. So that's like a map you need to draw out. Okay, it'll take a little bit of time. Give yourself a couple of days. There's no big, advanced things that need to be done for that. These are things that can be done very quickly. However, the two that I don't want to say I want to warn you about, but obviously I want to provide information because there's definitely people who have missed the deadline because of these two. The two in particular, actually from the entire application, they're both going to be from the documents that you need to get that category. It's going to be the academic credential. So, you like your university diploma, basically. I think the minimum requirement is like a bachelor's degree. Maybe they're flexible on that for like a vocational degree or something, but I've not heard of anyone getting in without some sort of higher education degree. I don't believe you can just apply with a high school, degree. And then the second one is the criminal background check. The reason both of these need to be done so far in advance is because one, like those examples I cited earlier, you can't just write it out and be done with it in a day or two. The other thing is they need to be collected or gathered or prepared from your home country. So it's going to take a long time. It's not something you can do in Thailand. And there is a chance you actually might even need to show up in person in your home country. So I know for me, this was part of the process. So let's just say, I'm doing it from the USA quota, and it could easily be the same for whatever other country you're from. Each country is different, so you're going to need to check. I will just use the US process as an example. I'm not making this video for USA people only, but obviously that's the only process I can refer to. And I don't think it should be wildly different from other countries. Maybe it's a little bit slower, more bureaucratic, but it'll give you an idea. It'll give you a ballpark estimate of what needs to be done. So the academic credential, for me to request it from my school, they want the technical wording that they use on the documents list is a copy of your academic credential. Now, this is a small thing, an issue. It doesn't actually say if they want the diploma, like the one you put in a frame that you kind of show off at your house, or if they want the transcripts. And I know for a fact people have applied using the transcripts only. I've been in touch with people who applied as recently as last year, and they told me they only use the transcript. They did not use the diploma. So the verbiage on it is a little bit confusing. I will say, hopefully, you have no problem getting, a copy of the transcript or a copy of the diploma. I know there are a lot of people in the U.S. who do have a problem getting it because if you owe any money to the school or there's something wrong with one of your loans, they will not release the transcript to you. They basically hold it at ransom for you to, I don't know, be up to date and in good standing on loans and stuff like that. So hopefully not an issue. But to get that, you will need to order it from your university. So let's say that'll take a couple weeks. Just put 2 weeks on the starting counter. Now, the next thing, again, this is the US process. Each country is going to be different, but it should be similar, is a notary. And a notary, I'm sure they have different versions of it in other places, but for Me, I had to go to a notary public to get this. So I get it from my school, and then I need to get it stamped by a thing called notary public, which is just an official who's kind of verifying that this is indeed, authentic. So that could take, let's just give it a few days. Let's add 1 week, for some buffer time. So now we're at 3 weeks, two to request, one for the notary. The next thing that I had to do, keep in mind that Thailand is not part of the Hague Convention. If you're wondering what that has to do with anything, they do not accept apostles. So that's going to make the process longer for everyone. If they were, it would be a lot faster. But then I had to get it authenticated at the state level. So I graduated from university in Texas. I had to go to the capital, to Austin. I didn't have to go there. You can do mail-in processing, but on the website for Texas, it says 25 business days. So let's say add 4 more weeks to the already 3 weeks to get it done at the state level. After that, you need to get it sent to the federal level, to the Department of State, for them to put their stamp on it to authenticate it. That is written on their website, turnaround time of 11 weeks. 11, that's ridiculous. I know there's a lot of complaints. People hate it here. But hopefully, whatever country you may be applying from is a bit faster than that. So I'm already losing count, but it was 3 plus 4, that's 7, plus 11, that's 18, and we're still not done. You need then to get it stamped before you can send it to Thailand. You need one more stamp from the Thai embassy. And on theirs, it's on their website, it says it takes about 15 working days. So let's add 3 more weeks. So that's 21 weeks. And then you send it to Thailand. And that's not counting all the mailings in between, for you to send it from your house to that office, for that office, send it back to you, for you to send it. Let's just assume you're using a quick method of mailing. I was already at 21, and then you send it to Thailand, and it needs to get translated. Let's say that takes another week. And then you need to get an appointment with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And that is actually not too easy to get from people I've spoken to. It could take some time. So plan out, I don't know, 2, 3 weeks for that. So, man, that's a lot of weeks. Let's just say 24 weeks into months. That's about 5 to 6 months. Now, let's say not every step of the process is going to take the full amount of processing time. Maybe, they send it, a few days or up to a week earlier. But either way, you're going to need a solid 5 months, and you don't want to have everything in hand, the day before the deadline. You want it comfortably in your hand, ideally by October, because that's kind of by the time they typically open up. It varies from year to year, but for certainly by November. If you don't have it by November and the deadline is at the end of the year, and you get it, you might get it in December. Obviously, that's going to raise your blood pressure a bit. So that is why I made this video, actually, because I know for a fact there are people, they get caught off guard and they don't know how long the process actually takes. They don't actually go, well, they look at the requirements, but they don't actually go and check each individual step and see how long that's going to take to get. So if you were to go in like August or September and you start kind of getting the ball rolling and you're looking at stuff, you're like, wow, it's maybe already too late. You kind of started, too late. Obviously, it depends country turnaround times and things like that, but there's definitely going to be, more than a few that need to get started well early. Now, the other one, the criminal background check. Actually, last thing I'll say about the academic credential is that there's no expiration date on that. With most all the other documents, they want them to be fresh. They want them to be recent. There's typically, it'll say on the documents list, how recent they want them. But a lot of documents they want within the past 90 days. They can't be older than 90 days. Some of them even within the last month. It cannot be older than a month. But I know for the academic credential, that one does not have an expiration. So you can get it months in advance, more than 3 or 4 months, and it'll be fine. The other thing is the criminal background check. That's the second document, and you're going to need to get that one verified as well. It might have to go through a similar process. I know for the US, it doesn't have to get notarized by like a public notary or at the state level, but it still has to get sent and authenticated at the Department of State, the federal level, which has an 11-week turnaround time. Absurd. One thing is that the process has changed. Before, let's just say for US people, you could And actually, this goes for a lot of countries because I'm in a Facebook group which is all dedicated to people who want to get Thai permanent residence or become citizens, citizenship. So they share a lot of good information on there. They're yeah, very forthcoming. They're very helpful, especially. So, and it's cool to meet other people who are so keen on the Thai life, on the Thailand life, that they want to become a part of it. Oftentimes, when you're in Thailand, it's a bit of a transient place. A lot of people, they're just kind of there enjoying their time. They're not really trying to establish themselves in the same way that I am, or the same way that some of my other friends are. So it's cool to connect with people like that who want to be a part of it, so to speak. And yeah, I know people in the past. You could go to your embassy in Bangkok, and they would do an authentication for you, or they would do some sort of affidavit for you, where you basically write out a piece of paper. You say, this is I swear this is true and correct and it's not fake. And then you sign it, and that would be good enough. I've spoken with people directly who have used this method. However, in recent years, this also includes the U.S. embassy. They're not doing that anymore. So you need to check with your embassy in Bangkok if they're able to authenticate in that way. If they are, it will make things a lot easier. You'll still have to get the documents from your home country. Like the criminal background report. It's not the Thai criminal background. It's from your home country, and then the academic credential from wherever you went to school, not necessarily your home country. I know people from Asian countries who studied in the U.S. who are applying for Thai PR. You still have to get it from the U.S. of course. And then you can send for those people if that's your embassy. This is all key. There are so many contingencies in this process, so many nuances, things to be aware of, things you don't want to get caught off guard with. Checking and finding out timelines too late, that you really got to do it in advance. So I would say, I don't think you need to do any more than 6 months in advance, but by the mid-year point, you should at least know the timelines involved. You don't necessarily have to get started, especially if you're from a more fortunate country where they might do an affidavit for you at your embassy in Bangkok. Or the steps that you have to take back home at the state and or federal level are much faster than the US's, ridiculous 11-week turnaround time for one of the steps. But yeah, you're going to want to be well prepared. So that is what I'm putting out there. I know I have friends, and if I didn't let them know that these things need to be done so far in advance, they wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have known about it, and they would have simply missed the application deadline. And there's nothing worse than missing the deadline and having to wait a whole nother year to apply for your Thai permanent residence. All right, guys, that's all the info I got for today. I wanted to put this video out there because I know it will be helpful for someone at some point in time. Another thing I already know is this is going to be a very narrow subset of people who are going to be interested in this video, interested in this information, who are willing to go through with this multi-year process. But one thing I discovered about making and all those videos about my hair transplant, by the way, take a look, it's doing all right. Colors faded a bit. Is that it's cool to connect with some like-minded people, especially the fewer and more narrow and more niche whatever you're talking about is, the cooler it is to link up with these people and connect with them. So for me, honestly, one unexpected reward that I got for making those videos was just being able to link up with people like that. That alone, honestly, made it worth it for me. So if I can, help someone and kind of replicate maybe some connections like that in the process with this Thai permanent residence, thing that I'm doing, that'll be worth it in itself. Anyways, you guys know, I just hope this video is helpful for someone. And any questions, let me know. Right now, it is July, and I will be applying in about November, in a few months. So I'll keep you updated. Definitely, we'll have more videos to lay out the process. I really wish there was someone who kind of did this on YouTube before I had to do it. But hey, it's got to start somewhere. So let's do it. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.